Back here on Ask the Coach, Joe Myers and Jeff Garman discussing last night's 43-9 victory for the Scotties over Washington County, a win that sends them into the second round of the playoffs to face Christian Academy of Louisville on Friday night in Louisville. Let's take a look at the drive chart from the game last night. Washington County actually won the coin toss and elected to defer, so Glasgow took the opening kickoff of the game. Scotties go 3 and out on that opening drive, gave Washington County the football at their own 37-yard line after a punt, and the Commanders drive down into Glasgow territory inside the 15-yard line, but the drive eventually stalls out inside the 5-yard line. If memory serves me correctly, I think Washington County wound up having a penalty, and they ended up kicking a 23-yard field goal to cap the 9-play, 63-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Max Stevens kicked that field goal for the Commanders to give them a 3-0 lead with 6:29 to go in the first quarter. And a good stand by your defense there, Jeff. Your offense had gone 3 and out on the opening possession, and as you said, you kind of stemmed the tide a little bit there by not giving up the touchdown, just holding them to the 3-point.
Yeah, it was a big play, and we lost the toss, so we had to take the ball first, which I was going to take the ball first anyway. And you hope that the reason I do that is I was going to elect to take the offense first. I wanted to try to get the field position area in the way that we wanted it, and we didn't really get started off exactly the way we wanted to, but and that's how it goes sometimes. And defensively, they gashed us on one run there and got outside on us and got a play, and then I thought our defense tightened up when we got down there in the red zone, and I was proud to see that, and they got in there and they fought and they battled and just gave up 3 points, and that's a big turnaround when the team was driving down there, and it lifted Washington County's spirits, and I wanted to see how we would respond back on offense that next series, and I can't remember if it was that series or if it was the series after, but we come back and get a long pass play and get a touchdown on that, and then we kind of got going from there.
It was actually 2 series later, because on your next series you wound up punting. You pinned Washington County deep in their own territory at the 8-yard line, so you kind of flipped field position right there because you got them to go 3 and out. You got the football back right at midfield at the 50-yard line, and then 6 plays later you guys are in the end zone on a 35-yard touchdown pass from Desi Austin to Karam Kimball. The kick was no good, left you with a 6-3 lead with 1:38 to go in the first quarter. As you said earlier, you would not trail again in the ball game, but that's something that kind of maybe might get overlooked a little bit there. You flip field position right there. You go 3 and out, but you punt it, pin them deep, you hold them to a 3 and out, you get it back with a short field again, you made it pay off.
If I'm not mistaken, the possession before the touchdown pass, we had pretty good field position then. I think we might have had a penalty, a false start on that, and kind of put us in a long yardage situation, but I think with our first 3 offensive drives, we ended up punting, and it kind of threw us off kilter a little bit. And I'm not going to say, and the plays they were stunning some linebackers and stuff, and ended up making some big plays and getting some sacks, and they kind of had the momentum there early, and when you get in that situation, and with our ball club being so young, and I'm not going to say we panicked, but I think we kind of flinched right then. And, that play to get the long pass for a touchdown was huge. And it kind of put everybody at ease, and we kind of started playing from there. And from there it kind of took off, and we were never really threatened again that much after that, to be honest with you.
Washington County got it back at its own 38-yard line, 1:33 to go in the first quarter. That's the series where Drake Poland would wind up getting a blocked punt for the Scotties. Glasgow would then turn the football over on downs after that blocked punt, and then Washington County would punt again as they took over at their own 27-yard line, and that's the series with 7:47 to go in the first half when the bad punt snap went over the head of the punter, went into the end zone, and Josiah Moore was Johnny on the spot there for the Scotties. He recovered the bad punt snap in the end zone for a Glasgow touchdown. Desi Austin got into the end zone on a 2-point run to make it 14-3. Scotties 7:47 to go in the first half. it looked to me like the Washington County punter did not know exactly what to do when the ball went in the end zone. It looked like he kind of hesitated to get on the ball, but his mistake certainly was to your all's benefit. Josiah right there to pounce on it, Jeff.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he didn't know if they were in the end zone or if they were out of the end zone. He kind of stood there for a second, and we were able to get a couple of guys to hit him, and there was a skirmish there for the ball, and Josiah come out with it, and it was a good play by our special teams, and it was a big play in the ball game.
So then Washington County comes back after taking at their own 35-yard line. They drive 65 yards in 7 plays, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Garrett Floyd would break loose around the left end down the sideline for a 23-yard touchdown run. 2-point conversion was no good. Glasgow led 14-9 with 4:31 to go in the second quarter. Scotties came right back after taking the ball back at their own 32-yard line. They marched 68 yards in 6 plays in 1 minute and 43 seconds. Desi Austin hits Ben Hughes on what was kind of just a short pass to the sideline, but then Ben made a terrific run after the catch to go 61 yards. The kick good by Noah Howard for the extra point. It was 21-9 Scotties with 2:48 to go in the second quarter. Ben just made a great catch, a great run after that catch, made a couple of men miss, and then when he got a seam, he turned on the speed and he was gone.
He did, and that was just one of the screens that we run, and Tanner Bowes did a great job getting out there and getting a block, and I saw Connor Cassidy come through. I saw Ponder come through. We got guys out in front of them. Ben found that seam and took it north-south. I mean, it's exactly the way we practice it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and it's good to see you execute things that you practice, and it takes a lot of people to make that play happen, and then it takes some athleticism on Ben's part to finish the run off and get to the end zone. And Ben's been pretty good at making big plays all year long. I think he had a couple of touchdowns tonight, maybe. I know one, maybe two. I don't know for sure. That puts him somewhere around 10 or 11 touchdowns for the year, and he's just had an outstanding year so far.
Washington County's next series of drives, or series of plays, I should say, would be stopped when Evan Riddle got his 6th interception of the year and returned it 35 yards to the Washington County 29-yard line. Scotties would eventually turn the football over on downs right there inside the 5, but Glasgow would add a couple more points at the end of the half when another bad punt snap went over the head of the punter and out of the back of the end zone for a Glasgow safety, and so that set the halftime score at 23-9 in Glasgow's favor. Scotties come out and hold Washington County to 3-and-out on their opening possession of the third quarter, and Glasgow would score on the next 3 possessions. Their first 3 possessions of the second half all went for touchdowns. Glasgow took over at the Washington County 43-yard line. 6 plays later, and 1 minute 36 seconds off the clock, it was Kyle Nixon getting in the end zone for an 8-yard run. The kick was blocked to make it 29-9 in Glasgow's favor with 7:44 to go in the third quarter. And once you got that touchdown right there, Jeff, you got a 20-point lead midway through the third quarter. Had to be feeling pretty good about things, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show, and I've said this all year long, our defense will play as good as what our offense does. And when our offense scores and gets you a lead, it changes the way the other team has to approach their offense. And Washington County's not a really good throwing football team. We were putting them in situations where they had to throw the ball. We end up with a couple interceptions. We had another shot at another interception, and 2 of our guys went both up for it and kind of knocked it out of each other's hands. But it all goes hand in hand. When you have an offense that scores and puts points up on the board, just how much better it makes your defense too. And tonight was a night that we hope to see more days like this, where we score and 30-something plus points, and the defense holds them down.
Glasgow would score again with 4:34 to go in the third quarter on a 7-play, 60-yard drive. Jasper Mundy got into the end zone on a 6-yard run. Noah Howard added the extra point for a 36-9 lead, and then after another Washington County punt. Glasgow's final score of the night came on a 5-play, 80-yard drive that took 2 minutes exactly off the clock. Winds up being a 52-yard touchdown pass, technically, in the stat book from Desi Austin to Griffin Murphy. It's just the play where Griffin comes in motion underneath and Desi just kind of flips it forward. It does count as a pass because it is a forward flip. And Griffin, Jeff, made a great run. We've seen Griffin do it so many times. I've seen him do it, and he's just a sophomore. I'm looking forward to seeing him do it a lot more the next couple of years, but it never ceases to amaze me, his quickness out there in the open field.
Yeah, and he got some good blocks out on the edge, but, he's been close to breaking some big long runs this year in that same play. And tonight, he was able to find his way through there and just outrun everybody on Washington County's defense. And, Griff's a big part of our offense. He's the one player that when he touches the ball, he has the capability of going to the house anytime he touches it. And, he's done a good job this year. And to just be a sophomore, we're expecting, a lot more plays like that in the future.
Dwayne Cook would end Washington County's final series of the night as the sophomore got an interception to give Glasgow the football back with 3:48 to play, and they were able to just run the clock out from that point. We'll come back in a moment, look at the offensive and defensive stats, talk a little bit about Christian Academy of Louisville. We're back after this on WCOD Sports.
What are people going to think of our new buttermilk crispy chicken? Let's find out.
It's probably the best sandwich I've ever had.
It's super crispy, but it's also really juicy.
So would you guys come back? Yeah. Definitely. Well, here's our card. The location is on the back. It's McDonald's? What? What?
Oh, get out
No way.
Wait, seriously?
Try some buttermilk crispy chicken. It's right around the corner at McDonald's. Buttermilk?